And you made how much?
$85,000.
Come on!
Hey, I've been waiting for that.
Imagine living your first 16 years in Peru and Venezuela, and then moving to the United States. English is your second language, but you love being an entrepreneur. You see the potential of real estate, and you combine those two, and all of a sudden you start taking action and you start finding some opportunities, and boom, you start doing deals. But it's a journey to get there. It takes you a while to get your first deals. And that is just 1/1000th of the incredible story that we're going to really get into. It's such an inspirational story. This is going to blow your guys' minds. It is my pleasure to bring onto the podcast from Athens, Georgia, by way of Peru and Venezuela, Pablo Sanchez and Dylan Rodriguez. Welcome, guys.
Hey, Brent, how are you doing, man?
Thank you, Brent.
Thank you for the introduction.
I'm fantastic. I am excited. I am excited to get into this. So
Yeah.
I want to jump into just some of the real estate stuff, and then we'll time travel here a little bit to really get into the nitty gritty of your story, because I think that's where, all the juice is in. But you guys, Dylan, you at least discovered wholesaling a year ago. It
Yes, sir.
took about 8 months to really start building up the momentum to get to your first deal. But since then, how many deals have you closed?
3 of them.
3?
Yeah, 3 deals and 2 in the pipeline.
And 2 in the pipeline. And what have you made from those 3 deals so far?
$122,500.
$122,500. Absolutely bananas. We're going to be breaking down their biggest deal, which is just a phenomenal story. But first, I'll start with you, Dylan. Dylan, tell me about your story, man. Tell me about how you got to this point where you're a wholesaler now in Athens, Georgia. How did you get here?
Well, like you said, it all started a year ago. Just fresh out of high school, but kind of lost on the way I wanted to do things in life. I was working, like I said, this job, just loading trucks pretty much all day, 5 days a week, 16 hours plus shift. Sometimes 20 to 24 those are, some crazy days. Then I tired of all the situation and all the time that I was spending, because I had no time to spend with my family, my girlfriend, and, just the people that I love. Start finding like some alternative ways to kind of make money. I always been an entrepreneur, but I've tried, a whole lot of things. I tried drop shipping, tried stocks, investing, the whole shebang. But nothing hit it off as hard as, I guess, real estate. And found wholesaling through YouTube, kind of niching down, hey, what's quick, what's the best and quickest way to make money in the United States, and then real estate came up. They told me to become an agent. They didn't want to do that. And second thing that followed was wholesale. So the best way to kind of gather a lot of money quickly, right? They don't really tell you how much work it takes up front, but it really is simple. It's a simple thing, but it takes a lot of work. So I found wholesaling about a year ago, like I said. And we're months, and I quit my job as soon as I found wholesaling. Not even doing my first deal, not even doing my first call when I quit my job, but I just I knew it was something that I could make happen. And not even a month in, I realized that it was not going to happen as quick as I thought it was going to happen. I thought I was going to come in and do my first deal, in the first month and a half, and it was not like that. It took me actually 8 months to find my first deal. Actually, many attempts before that, but all of them failed. Try going on market, off market, and people would just block me and just ghost me, or until, kind of find, like, I actually found you guys, I believe, of the beginning of this year, somewhere around January, February, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
And that's when it kind of, I started hitting off a lot more conversations. I knew the way that I had to talk to people and actually to get conversations. Before, I didn't even have a script. I would just literally call and see if I could, hey, you have a property that you would like to sell for, quick and easy, I guess. And then I kind of found a way to, like, have a better communication with these people. And so that's how I kind of found my first deal 8 months later. Months and months without making a single penny. My car was going to repo. I had everything piled up, credit cards maxed out, and just not a good way to do things. But from the mistakes we learned, and now we're here. And months later, found that deal, and kind of made me see the light, and everything that I was working for, seen it through finally, right?
I love it.
It was, I don't know, I'll say it was not a huge deal, but that deal kind of made me realize that it was possible. And it actually made realize this guy right here,
Yeah.
that it was actually possible too.
Yes, correct.
That's how I got him on board.
Pablo,
Yes, sir.
what's your experience?
So I was doing real estate as an agent before actually jumping into wholesaling. I haven't seen this guy like for 3 years, and then we saw each other last year, and he was into wholesaling, and I understood it, but I knew it was a learning curve, so I didn't want to take the jump. So we partnered up, and as he explained, he was making the calls and I was paying the systems. And until I saw the first deal come through, and then I was like, okay, Dylan, I got to learn about this. So from there, that was 4 months ago. And from then, I'm actually, going through that learning curve, but pretty excited for everything that's going on.
And you come from a family that does real estate in Peru.
Correct. My dad is a realtor in Peru, always been around houses, showings, negotiations, the whole round.
I got it. So Dylan, you were just like, listen, I just need to find something that I can get up and running. It doesn't have a huge overhead, that I can just put in, a lot of sweat equity, as they call it, put in a lot of effort and be able to start getting some profits. And that's really what you were looking at. You weren't really, you didn't read Rich Dad, Poor Dad. You didn't go down the path of, following a bunch of wholesalers for a while. It was just kind of, you tried this route. No, you tried that route. No. Oh, this is the other route, is wholesaling. And then you just jumped right in. What made you quit your job? I mean, did you have savings? Did you have, how did you know? You know what I mean? How did you know that you were going to be able to be okay?
Well, that's a funny story. So,
He didn't know.
Yeah, full disclosure, I didn't know how hard it was going to be, first of all. Second of all,
Right.
I still live with my parents, right? I'm 22.
Sure.
Still live with my parents and my family. For me, my family is everything. And I kind of had to live, I talked it over with my dad, and I had, remember, what was it, like $5,000 that I thought was going to be enough for me that it will last for me long enough so I can find my first deal, which I thought was going to be $50,000 for some reason. All right. So then I realized, it's not going to be like that. Quickly realized it was not going to be like that, right? Ran through all the money. Bills starting to pile up. I was not able to help at home. Sometimes my dad would have to come in and kind of help me with the gas, because I was trying everything. I was doing driving for dollars, doing cold calling, the whole shebang, and I wouldn't have money in the account to actually pay for anything. But I had this like vision of me actually getting it done that kind of, I guess, pushed me all the way through. I failed many times.
Where does that? Yeah. Where
Yeah.
does that come from, Dylan? You know what I mean? Like, you grew up, and I want to get into this,
Mhm.
your first 16 years growing up, but is there something in there that was like, you know what, I need to be an entrepreneur. I have all this potential. I know that I can do something. But where does that come from?
So, to be honest, Brand, I come from a family of entrepreneurs. My uncles are entrepreneurs. My dad has always been a business owner, and my whole family actually they all do a mechanic, like automobile mechanic, and all of them are technicians. And back there in my country, all of them had their own businesses. They had the time freedom and the time to spend with their family. And once we moved here, we lost all that, right? The situation was completely different, right? My dad had to work a job, 9 to 5, work for somebody else. Nothing that he was used to, but nothing short of a hero, So he'll always be there for my family. And he actually, he kind of showed me the ropes, not even knowing that he was doing that, by actually telling me, hey, we'll go on trips pretty much like 150 days out of the 365 days of the year. We'll go on trips because I wouldn't say a gold medalist on mountain bike, but I was representing my state down there in Venezuela, and we had to take off pretty much a lot of time, to actually so they can take me to the races, right? Um, and the fact
Wait a
that
second. You were a gold medalist?
no, I was not a gold medalist, but I had talent to do that. Enough talent for me to get
Yeah.
for the Venezuelan selection. But yeah, it's one of the things, and I um, seen the time that my dad would spend with me, and I was wonder, when I got here to the United States and I went away, you don't value something until you don't have it anymore, right? So I was
Sure.
like, all right, so what's the reason that my dad had all the time and all the uh, resources to actually take care of me and my family while we're away, and doing what I'm passionate about. And I
Yeah.
figured, he has a business and people work for him, and pretty much he pretty much runs the whole thing, so he can just take out whenever he wants, and he knows that the business will still make money for him, right? So by by that, I kind of when I got here and I was looking back to all the stuff that we actually had lost, um, I figured, well, I have to do that because this time my dad now has to take care of the family, but he doesn't have a business anymore, right? We went through really tough times the first couple 4 or 5 years, and until he actually, he's got a job, a really nice paying job right now as a technician, but he doesn't have a business anymore, so he has to be working all the time. So I took I guess, the decision for the family that I was going to be the guy to go actually make the business happen here in the United States so everybody could have their free time again. Um, which is, kind of one of the ways, one of my whys I do this. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and so, yeah, I think that's pretty much where the drives comes from, my family and the way they inspire
That's
me.
incredible. I mean, it's absolutely incredible. What made you guys make the move
Uh,
from Venezuela to here?
Well, as you know, or as everybody knows, Venezuela is not in a great situation right now. Economic situation, security,
Sure.
safety, and all this stuff is really bad down there. And my dad had seen a decline in numbers on the business. He was seeing like the numbers were not matching up, and he had saved up a lot of money. Well, not a lot of money, but compared to what it is nowadays, you could say it's a lot of money. And he kind of made the trip over here himself. We came over here as vacation first time, and we were actually just exploring and see what city we liked the most. Went to Florida. That was definitely not our lifestyle. Um, and then went back there. Kind of made a decision. 6 months later, my dad was over here in Georgia, trying to figure out a way for him to make money in the United States. So get a job, no house, no nothing, by himself. And a couple months later, we arrived. right after him. Yeah. So I guess just taking
And
him.
you're 16 years old.
Yeah, at that time I was 16 years old. I got two other brothers. I got a brother and a sister. My brother, I believe at the time was 12, 13, and my sister was like 9, 10. And then my mom, So yeah.
Incredible. Pablo, growing up, Peru, your dad's in real estate. You're doing your thing. How'd you make the move? What was it like? I mean, you obviously have this entrepreneurial spirit as well, or you and Dylan wouldn't get along as well as you are, and partnered up. So where did that come from?
I think it was through seeing my dad, honestly. And so he was doing pretty well. But then when I moved here, it was because my mom, she lost her job over there in Peru. And then she got here to the States. And she was a server for 9 years. So she also got me my first job at the restaurant, the same restaurant where she would work. So we would all go work together with my other sister as well. And then kind of same as Dylan, man. I don't want my family to live like that anymore. So
Right.
I get it from my dad, but that motivation comes from seeing from what all that we built so far with my family and where we don't want to go back to. So that is for sure.
Well, the crazy thing is the serendipity that you guys even meet. You guys both moved to Athens, Georgia at the same time and went to Clark Central High School together, meet there, become friends. I mean, you guys both immigrated to this country at the same time. Both are living there in going to the same high school. And then, you graduate high school, you guys go your separate ways, and then you reconnect and you guys are both doing real estate.
Yeah.
Yep.
Isn't that wild?
That is crazy.
That is wild. If you put it like that, it's really wild.
I mean, absolutely incredible. But both with the same, that same, fire in your belly to take care of your family, to have the freedom of schedule, to build something special, to build an actual company here. Going off of Pablo, your dad's example, and Dylan, your whole family's example, really, just doing it here, starting all over, starting fresh, and doing it at 22 years old, and finding wholesaling real estate. I mean, it's wild. This you guys are such an inspiration to me. You know what I mean? Like, there's so many people that have all roads are clear. Everything is wide open for them to take action in this business, and there's still little things holding them back, but not you guys. Not you guys. There should be a million things holding you guys back, but you don't care. You're just going out, you're taking massive imperfect action, and you're the pure example of what it means to be a rhino in this business, to go out there and just go find people that have problems with their properties and solve those problems with their properties and match them up with investors that want to invest into those neighborhoods. And you guys have done it 3 times. You've now got 2 pending. And it's absolutely incredible. So let's talk about this deal that you guys closed. Let's talk about what I love, a big, massive deal. And I define a massive deal as a deal that is over $50,000 in pure net profit. And so let's talk about it, Dylan. Break me down.
All right. Well, actually, we found this deal. I found this deal cold calling.
Okay.
Owner.
What list?
So it was just a tire landlord list. Good old tire landlord. It's the only thing that we actually call.
Tired landlords. Yep.
Yeah, it's the only thing that we call. We call.
Where do you pull your tired landlord list from?
Badge leads.
Got it. Okay.
Yep. So, yeah, I was just going through the list, and this guy's voicemail just came up. And, I don't ever leave voicemails. But he actually returned the call, like not even 30 seconds later. And I didn't take the call because I was going through my list. Right. He leaves me a message though saying, "Hey, who's this?" So I was like, "Hey," I just reply, "Hey, is this, the person, the owners?" name, and I was like, hey, do you think you would consider selling your property there? And it was like, yeah, I would. I was like, all right, well, cool. Do you have a minute to hop on the phone? And he was like, yeah, I'll call you right now. So he called me. We had a conversation. He kind of explained the whole situation. He was trying to move out of state. They're an old couple and trying to move out of state closer to family. So they have this property that they bought years and years ago, like I think it was like 20 something years ago, and they had to rent it, and they didn't know what to do with the property because they wanted the money from the property, but they didn't want to kick out the renters, right? And because they always had a good relationship. So I was like, yeah, well, what if we take a look? We go all take a look and see if we can make something work. I'll drive by the property just by looking at it from the outside. I'll see if I can make something work, and we can go from there. Kind of made an offer to him. He said he wanted $150,000, and I was like, hey, I'm actually closer to the $100,000 mark. But what do you think? You think maybe we can work something out? And he was like, well, I can do 125. Back and forth, we end up at 112,500. That's actually our special number. It's a lucky number. 112,500. Everybody goes for that number for some reason. Yeah. Then we go out there. We actually schedule a showing. Well, actually, weeks go by.
Real quick, Dylan.
Yeah.
At the time,
yeah,
you locked it up 112,500. What did you think was the fixed up value?
The fixed up value. I thought the fixed up value was 140.
140. Okay. So you thought it was 140 fixed up and locked it up for 112,500.
No, 240, not 140.
240.
240, not 140.
Love it. Okay. Keep going.
Yeah.
Yep.
So he actually did not. He was, I'll give him an email, send that there, and I'll take a look over it. So he says that I send it over to the email. He ghosts me for a couple weeks, right? I try to get a handle of him like days later. He didn't answer the phone, so I thought, maybe he's not really that interested. Call him a couple weeks in. After that first call, he answers the phone and he tells me, hey, the only reason why I haven't signed and I haven't even, actually get this going is because I have the tenants in there and I really don't want to. I want to find a way so they can move and we don't have, we have to end up in bad terms. I was like, all right, well, we'll pay for their moving costs. And it was like, no, actually what I want to do first is I'll let them go try for a loan to see if they can buy the property. Right. So I was like, well, let's do something. If that's the case, I want to help you achieve what you want. Let's go check out the property, see if you think it will even qualify for a loan. If it would, I would more than happy to connect you with somebody else that can actually get your tenants a loan to get a deal going. He felt, he was like, oh, great. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. So we did that, went and seen the house. They were not happy, to say the least, on the conditions of the house. And I knew for a fact that the house was not going to pass any type of loan. And so they went in.
Why? What was wrong with it?
So, everything was wrong with it. To start from there, everything was wrong with it. There was it's just a mess. When you walked in, you just could smell cat pee all over the place. You could the carpet was turned out, and it was just a whole mess.
Yeah, you could see literally the subfloors. They were living in the subfloors.
So actually, from that day on, they told the tenants, "Hey, you guys have to go. You guys got 30 days." 30 days went by. They had to move. They told we actually helped the tenants find a place to move because they didn't have a way to actually, I guess they didn't know anybody to actually help them move or find a place to move, And so we helped them out that way. They moved out of the property. That's how we got our deal. After they moved, we got that thing locked up and we got everything going. We went back actually. And after, we had seen the property, For the second time, I told them, hey, this is going to take a whole lot more work than what we had described on the phone. You know, like you guys told me this is the offer that I gave you based on the conditions that you told me on the phone. It's completely different. I told him that I was going to call him later. We end up that day, I didn't call him. Right. I was worried because I actually had an investor drove by. We walked the property, and he was like, you know what? I don't think this is going to work. I have to be much lower price. And I was worried that I had tried myself in a bad deal. So
Yeah, sure.
next day comes by, they call me. I didn't call them, they called me 9 a.m. on a Saturday. And they are like, hey, what happened? Like, are you going to be able to make this work? And I was like, hey, if I'll be honest with you, I wouldn't take this deal, but because I know the condition and we have created this relationship, I would take it, but only if we do it at this price, right? And as soon as I said, and this case was from 112, I said I wanted to get to 90,000, so I said 80,000. And from 112 to 80,000, I thought that, these guys were gonna cuss me out or something. I said 80,000, and he said, "We'll take it. Are you gonna be able to make money on it?" And I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Yeah, sure, I'll make money on it." And I was so mad at myself because I could have said 60,000 and they would have taken it. But still, it's all good. But so yeah, we actually got it for 80,000, and we walked it with
real quick. 80,000.
Yeah.
Fixed of values 240.
Correct.
I just want that to sink into everybody.
Yeah.
Because listen, Dolph DeRoos has said this forever and ever and ever. The deal of the decade comes around once a week. It really does. If you talk to enough people, and by the way, Dylan was calling and texting and calling and following up and calling. And I think I probably have 300 texts from you, Dylan. You know what I mean? Looking at deals and reviewing deals and going. I mean, you were putting in the work. When you put in the work, you find opportunities. The more people you talk to, the luckier you are. It's an absolute fact. And 80,000 on 240. Okay, so you get it down to 80,000. And Pablo, why don't you take over from here? How do you find a buyer for it? Did you find the buyer for it, Pablo?
Yes, I did.
Okay, so let's walk through that process.
So the day after, we went with some other investors, and they walked the property. And this Russian agent showed me her calculator with $165,000. So me and Dylan just looked at each other. We didn't act like we were surprised, because at that point we were making more money than the seller. And this other guy made the same offer, but with an agent that we actually knew, and we knew we could close. So we closed on it. They also realized that if they added a bathroom, the ARV was going to be closer to the 300s. So that was pretty much.
I love it. And how did you find those buyers, Papa?
Connections. Like I said, I'm an agent. I'm a licensed agent. So I know these agents, and I know this actually agent that we closed with, she's pretty good. She's like a top agent here in Athens. So, yeah.
So you locked it up for 80 and you sold it for how much?
165.
And you made how much?
$85,000.
Come on.
Hey, I've been waiting for that. I'll be waiting for that.
$85,000 on a conversation. Here's the thing that a lot of people really need to realize. Most people that own rental properties, what happens is they turn into tired landlords because they don't understand how much work a rental actually requires. So they make a deal. They make a deal with the tenants. Hey, tenants, don't call me to fix anything up, and I won't raise your rents. And then I assume that the seller that you had worked with had not been in that property for a very long time. And when they walked into that property and saw the condition that it was in, because they don't do what you should do every couple times a year, every 6 months, you should do a landlord walk through the property to make sure everything's not crazy, make sure everything's not getting destroyed, because this is an asset. But most landlords don't do this. That's why 85% of the deals that we find are from tired landlords. One, this should be a sign of caution to anybody that wants to build a big rental portfolio and think that it's going to be passive. It is not. Knock it off. You're being immature, because you need to be on top of it if you want your assets to be in good shape. Okay? That's an absolute fact. There's no passive income there. I don't care if you hire a property manager. I don't care if you have somebody that's collecting rents. They're not walking through the properties. They're not going to care about your property as much as you do. And most property management companies have so many people on the payroll. So many properties that they're taking care of. They really don't know about your property. That's an absolute fact. That's just an industry insider. That's from me being in this thing for 20 years. I'm telling you, if you're going to own rental properties, you need to be an active passive investor. Okay? Because this is what happens. This is what happens so many times. We find these tired landlords that make the deal with their tenants. They keep people in there forever. People don't take care of it because it's not their own, and they haven't learned. They don't have the skills to be able to keep up a property. And a property is a living, breathing thing. You need to keep it up. You need to keep it well-oiled and shiny. There's a lot of moving parts to a house that people don't realize. And so make sure that you understand the responsibility before you buy a rental property. And second, holy cow. Holy cow. They wanted to get rid of that property.
Yeah.
They wanted, listen, this is what we're talking about. Property owners have speed, convenience, and price. They get speed, convenience, and price. They only get two of them. So if they want speed and convenience, then they're going to have to understand and be realistic on the price. And you're probably right, Dylan. You probably could have thrown out $50,000 or $60,000 or $40,000. Who knows? Who knows where you could be? You know what I mean? I mean, let's not cry about it. It's still a massive, massive deal. But I think also on the flip side, though, Dylan, I mean, this just goes to squatting up with Pablo, who has experience bringing the right people into that property and getting the highest price for that. I mean, there's a lot to be learned from just that story of what you guys have accomplished in that deal. It's not just the 85. It's not just getting the deal. It's not just the celebration. There's so much packed in to that story that you just told. It's absolutely incredible. I mean, squat up with people that understand values and understand who to bring deals to, because you're going to make more money and they can actually close. You guys are incredible. I mean, this is incredible. You know what I mean? Venezuela, Peru, to Athens, Georgia, to doing deals, to not doing any deals for 8 months, to almost having your car repoed, to being wildly in debt with credit cards, which I don't suggest anybody do any of those things that Dylan did, but he did it anyway. And he came out the other side because, you know what? He didn't just sit there and go, woe is me, I'm going to lose my car, I owe all these credit cards. No, he stayed on the phone. He kept grinding. He set the appointment. He went in there with confidence, and he got the deal done. And then he did two more. He's got two more pending, and they're off and running. That's what this business is about. It's absolutely fantastic. Congratulations, guys.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Actually, I wanted to add something because in one of the deals, Brent, this is a reason why I partnered up with this guy, right? And to add up to the part that you said, you know, it's important to squat up with people that know and understand the values and have the right people in their phone, I guess, you know, and their connections. The third deal that we closed, actually, we bought it from another wholesaler, right? We bought this deal from another wholesaler because we understand our market pretty well. And it's a duplex here in Athens. So it's like at all times, it might be one or two duplexes in like on market. And whenever you have one of those off market, they fly away like quick, right? So I understood that this wholesaler sent me that, and I was like, all right, yeah, we'll actually buy it from you. And 2 days later, after we closed, we had somebody knocking on our door and asking, hey, you guys still have a duplex? We'll pay $25,000 more to what you guys paid for. And I was like, cool, it's all yours. So it goes to shows like this guy right here, he just knows the right people. You know, he knows the right people. So just squat up.
Yep.
I think that helps a lot.
I love it. How can people get a hold of you?
Gosh, I don't have any social medias. Deleted all my stuff because I just spent too much time on it. But I guess my phone number,
An email?
yeah, phone number, and email. I don't have any problem sharing with that. So phone number will be 706-296-3656. And email, it will be just Dylan, DYLAN, at lionsheadre.co. And you can send me any type of
Love it.
deals, and we're happy to dispo any type of deals or help out anybody in the area or anybody in general.
Pablo?
My phone number is 706-206-9389.
Get ready, boys. It's going to blow up. Absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible. You guys are such an inspiration. I mean, I feel pumped. I feel like I'm on fire. I hope I'm sure everybody listening and watching this is on fire as well. Absolutely incredible. So thank you guys for being on here. Thank you for sharing your story, and keep that momentum.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us, Brent.
Awesome. Thank you all for listening to this podcast episode. If you're looking for resources, if you're looking for purchase agreements and different contracts to use for your transactions, you're looking for guides, you're looking for video breakdowns on how to go out and get your first deal, go to wholesalinginc.com, check out the academy there. And if you're ready to join the most proactive group in real estate investing, it is the Rhino Tribe. There's an apply now button there at the wholesalinginc.com website. Click that, apply now, have a conversation with us. If it's the right fit for you, if it's the right fit for us, I will welcome you into the Rhino Tribe with open arms, and we'll get to work. That's it. My name is Brent Daniels, Mr. TTP, Mr. Talk to People. And I'll close this podcast, as I always do, encouraging you to go out there and talk to people. Till next time, guys. Love you. See ya.